Let's go to the third thinker or the third Milesian to consider, Anaximenes. In his account of or Anaximenes, Anaximander had presented a question to Thales. How is the qualitative diversity of the world to be reconciled with the primordial unity of its source? Anaximenes undertook to answer that question in a way very different from that of Anaximander, a way of which Thales himself might have approved. Let's read this fragment. Anaximenes, like Anaximander, declares that the underlying nature is one and unlimited. That is, of course, still in agreement with Thales. But Anaximenes disagrees with Anaximander that it is indeterminate, as Anaximander held, but argues it's also definite, saying that it is air. Patricia Curd, in the commentary, would say it's not that Anaximenes is not really referring to air, A-I-R, but air, A-E-R, which is a denser, rarer substance. Becoming therefore finer, it comes to be fire. Being condensed, it comes to be wind, then cloud. And when still further condensed, it becomes water, then air, then stones, and the rest come to be from these. Of course, he too makes motion eternal and says that change also comes to be through it. Anaximenes' answer, very simply, was that primordial unity is to be treated and understood as a stuff, a matter out of which things are made. The diverse elements of the world are to be attributed to changes in this stuff, changes which for him are quantitative in nature. Qualitative differences, that is, are to be accounted for by the thickening and thinning, condensation, and rarefaction of a primordial stuff. Yes, these are quantitative, but the difference is qualitative. This answer, of course, has a more distinct air of modernity. Let's read this fragment from Plutarch. Or, as Anaximenes of old believed, let us leave neither the cold nor the hot in the category of substance, but hold them to be common attributes of matter, which comes as the results of its changes. For he declares that the contracted state of matter and the condensed state is cold, whereas what is fine and loose, calling it this way, is hot. As a result, he claimed that it is not said unreasonably that a person releases both hot and cold from his mouth. For the breath becomes cold when compressed and condensed by the lips. And when the mouth is relaxed, the escaping breath becomes warm because of rareness. We can try that. We can blow very strongly, and what comes out is cold. We can breathe with the mouth relaxed, and the air that comes out is warm. Anaximenes here anticipated Democritus, which we will look at in a bit in the succeeding pre-recordings, as well as every modern philosopher who undertakes to derive the colors, sights, and sounds of the world from the arrangement in space of a matter which is qualitatively homogeneous. But let's wait until we are there. These primordial stuff Anaximenes believed to be air or mist or breath, which when rarefied becomes fire, became fire, and when condensed, wind, and then cloud, and then water, then earth, then stone, associated with these substances were appropriate qualities, especially the hot and the cold. Let's read this very long fragment from Hippolytus. Anaximenes declared that the principle is unlimited, aperon, air, no? From which come to be things that are coming to be, things that have come to be and things that will be, and gods and divine things. The rest comes to be out of the products of this. The form of air is the following. When it is most even, it is invisible, but it is revealed by the cold and the hot and the wet, and by its motion. It's always moving, for all the things that undergo change would not change if it were not moving. For when it becomes condensed or finer, it appears different. For when it is dissolved into a finer condition, it becomes fire. And on the other hand, air being condensed becomes winds. Cloud comes from air through felting, and water comes to be when this happens to a greater degree. When condensed still more, it becomes earth, and when it reaches the absolutely densest stage, it becomes stone. Condensation is a source of cold, while rarefaction is a source of heat. Rarefaction and condensation. Anaximenes adduced an empirical argument for this conclusion, which we've also read a while ago. Breath blown through compressed lips is cold, but with the mouth open, it is warm. It is a curious observation, but something of a historical landmark, and something which we should also pay attention to. As in Thales, so in Anaximenes, the primordial stuff is alive or ensouled, and the motion in the world is traced to the living character of its origin. As water is an ancient symbol of life, so is air or breath. Pneuma in the Bible, for example, ruach is breath, which is the source of life. If you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the YouTube channel Samo't sa Salita. This lecture is from Greek philosophy, Thales to Aristotle, edited by Reginald Allen, and a Presocratic Reader, edited by Patricia Kern. Thank you very much.